Welcome to Activations with JJ Ascension School, Part 11. Today we will be talking about the planet Nibiru, as well as how the Angelic Realm is becoming more and more involved during this time of Ascension. Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of this pretty awesome series, I think, called Ascension School. This is where I talk about all things related to Ascension, more just a knowledge base, less activations and less light language for you who are looking for information that isn't always found in the books that are readily available. So I hope that today you can join me for kind of a fun journey talking about some pretty interesting subjects. Before we pop into the subjects at hand, I want to make sure and take a quick second and invite you to Angelic Activation School. It's a 4-week program where I do an hour each Sunday, and at the end, you will receive your own angelic awakening song that I will literally create just for you and personalize just for you. So it's going to be an incredible group, a big gathering of people who love working with the angelic realms. I will be channeling angels. They have told me I will be bringing in new angels that most people on the planet don't know about. So that's kind of exciting to me. I really feel there's some new things coming up, new archangels. I'm not sure yet, but I feel it. I feel it. So if you're interested in the angelic realm and you want to join us, the link is also below. All right, moving right along, I want to go ahead and touch on the subject of Nibiru. If you have ever read about Nibiru or heard about Nibiru, it is a planetoid, technically. And I'm going to refer to 2 different sources as I talk a little bit about Nibiru. First of all, one of my favorite books, Earth Changes and Beyond, Messages from the Founders by Rachele. He has a section about Nibiru. In addition to that, one of the reasons why I am actually doing this subject is because I was in a session and I literally channeled information about Nibiru. So the second source is essentially Nibiru herself. She came to me, she presented herself to me and gave me some information about her role in relationship to the planet. So we're going to start out with the first resource, give you a little background about what Nibiru is. So in about 2030, according to Rachele, the planetoid Nibiru is scheduled to make its 3,600-year pass through the solar system. Okay? Like the comet, this event can be influenced by free will. There are 5D through 90 humanoid and non-humanoid beings residing in the etheric and celestial levels of Nibiru. Some of the more telepathic members of your race will likely make contact with them during the passage. The beings from Nibiru, commonly called Anunnaki, have influenced the evolution of humans many times in the past. Several members of their race came to Earth during the last 2 passages and instructed the struggling humans on how to better their conditions. The presence of the Anunnaki 2 passages ago is documented in the record of the Sumerians and the various peoples of Egypt. Their presence in later Egypt is also documented from the most recent passage, around 1600 BC. The Anunnaki have come repeatedly to Earth for brief intervals of time to help humans recover from various maladies. We will not detail their involvement in other passages. There is a lot of negative press regarding the Anunnaki. Like all races, there are variations in consciousness from one member to another among them. And certainly there have been some Anunnaki who have made decisions and turned out to aggravate the pain and suffering of humans. However, may we remind you that like attracts like in the lower 4 densities, and in order for humans to have a negative experience of another race, there must be negativity present on some level within the consciousness of those humans. There will be some souls on Earth who will use the passage of Nibiru and the distortions in the EM field that result to create another catalytic event of ascension. Likewise, some humans will use this event as an accelerator to cycle out of incarnation. We will not detail the variables for Nibiru like we did for the processional cycle of the Ananhutak. Suffice it to say, they are similar. All right, now I know I did not read the section that they are referring to about the processional cycles of Ananhutak, but if you grab the book, you can find out more about that. I'm going to stop right there. that's kind of enough for what we are going to launch from as far as what I channeled about Nibiru. As the book said, there's a lot of negative press about what Nibiru is and means, as well as what the Anunnaki are. I want to remind you that I personally am trying to shift away from duality. And so you will not hear me talk about what other people talk about. You guys know this. If you've listened to me before, I know that we create our own reality. We are choosing a vibration that does not attract what some people would consider and have labeled as the Dracos, the reptilians, and all of these races that they believe are undermining human beings. Those races are existing at all levels of vibration. And what you are, you will attract. What the collective is, it will attract. Where you put your energy, that's what you'll attract. And so I tend not to listen to the channels who are bringing through a lot of duality simply because that's my choice. And I respect your free will as well. I have 100% gone down that rabbit hole and found it to be exhausting and less expansive. That's just my personal opinion. For that reason, I have shifted into more like what Rachele is talking about here, to where I know that if I raise my vibration, I can see a perspective that's different about these races. They are also ascending and have ascended, and there's no such thing as time. So if we set the intention to connect with the ascended versions of these races, or even the planet Nibiru, because the planet also exists at different vibrations, then I think we'll have a more positive experience and positive outlook about what this planet is and does. Now, I want to step in and give you my personal channeled message from Nibiru, who connected with me the other day in a session. It was very fascinating. She is a feminine energy. The first thing she said to me was, please help the humans understand what I am really for. I felt her presence come in. It's a black, sort of shadowy feeling, but I have left duality, so I don't get scared when I sense that kind of energy. I let myself kind of jump into it and then connected with her. And I found out that she said she represents the shadow of Earth and is always available and connected to try to assist the planet Earth in doing shadow work. Okay? I thought that was fascinating because a lot of you out there know what shadow work is. You've done shadow work yourself. And this was just super crazy to me, but not crazy, really. But the planet has to do shadow work too. And Nibiru represents the shadow of the planet Earth. And when Nibiru comes along and gets closer and closer, she's assisting the planet in doing shadow work. Does that resonate with any of you? I felt her good intentions. I felt her love and her service for the collective, and especially for Gaia. And that's the thing I want to leave you with, is to not judge things and take them at face value. Especially, don't just take what another channel says, even me, as the gospel truth. Okay? Use your discernment. I talked about this in the very last Ascension message. Use your discernment and try to open your minds and expand yourself to new interpretations. The last episode of my Ascension messages on 3-3, I brought through a new interpretation of what the Trinity could mean. Now, I don't think I'm the first person to kind of draw the conclusion I did, but I'm just saying, maybe you haven't heard it before. I'm just trying to present different perspectives. We've got to shift those perspectives. Part of the matrix that most people are living in and the conditioning that we're trained in has to do with prescribing to just one or two different perspectives, mainly being duality. So when we live multidimensionally, we're able to shift to all kinds of perspectives and not judge them as good or better or worse or bad. We just see them as existing, as options, and we observe, okay? So I just want to kind of drive that home. especially since Nibiru herself came and said, will you please get this straight with the humans? Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is how the angelic realm is more involved than ever in what our planet is going through. I think I've mentioned this before. I feel like a broken record, but I felt the angelic realm coming through more and more and more and more over the last several weeks. Many of you who are listening are very connected to the angelic realm. You could say that you have angelic DNA. I have actually had people that I've met in the last few months that I could not read a starseed race off of, but that I could tell immediately were from the angelic realm. So basically embodied angels, earth angels. It reminds me of that show, Touched by an Angel. Does anybody remember that show from I think it was from the early 90s, where she came to Earth to do missions and do things. And she would kind of show herself to people. And there were a few of them. There were a few different angels she worked with. The main character, and it was just fascinating to me. I've actually experienced and witnessed real people like that on the planet today. You might be one of them. You really might. That's why I did the Angelic Activation School, because I feel like I'm starting to gather some of these people who are from the angelic realm. Here's the deal. So many of you are feeling like this earth thing has been super hard. And I want to tell you, for those of you who are from the angelic realm, I've felt like a lot of you, it's your first time on the planet. So I'm holding space for you, because it's difficult for you not only to just have a body. Lots of you have had issues just feeling like, what is this body thing? And a lot of you have also just struggled with the intentions of people on this planet, the humans, and you don't understand why they do what they do and how they manipulate and have ego. It's very difficult for you to grasp because your intentions are so pure and so aligned with Source. But you're here for a reason. So do not give up. There are others like you, and I'm hoping to begin to gather so that you can feel and sense your family. That being said, there is a new group of angels coming forth. Now, I'm not saying they're brand new, but they've just really stood out to me lately. The Ascension angels. The Ascension angels. So I want to invite you to think about something for a moment and consider the possibility of you inviting a new guide into your life. I love it because Rachele talked about, it was a while back in one of my Ascension School episodes, you can actually end a contract with a guide if they're no longer serving you. And many of you who are shifting timelines and ascending need fresh guides. You need a new set of guides because your old guides were for another vibration. So I want to invite you to do something. I want you to consider working with Ascension angels, inviting new guides who are Ascension angels. This is why I feel like in my Angelic Activation School coming up here soon, we will be calling forth and connecting with angels that have not been revealed on the planet before. They haven't come up for anyone else, but they are going to. Now, of course, we'll always continually be working with Metatron and Michael, Raphael, all of those archangels we know about. But there are others. There are others, and I sense them wanting to be known, wanting to be known. So that's just my little invitation to you to consider inviting these Ascension angels to work with you, using your free will to create your reality, and taking your ascension into your own hands. I feel like there's this sense of, yes, we surrender, but we also step into our creator power, strengthen our solar plexus, use our autonomy to say, wait a minute, I want this and I need this. Who can give this to me? And then calling for guides that can give you that. So those are two pretty fun topics, I think, that we've covered today. Nibiru and her presence and her message and what she means. And of course, Sal Rachelle's description of what Nibiru is in a more factual way, as well as the opportunity to work with Ascension angels here at this special, special time. My friends, I just want to let you know, I am holding space for you because there is a roller coaster going on right now. This is just my little energetic kind of tapping in with you. I feel it. I know a lot of you feel it. You're picking up on the collective vibrations. I had a friend reach out to me recently and she said, I've been working with a friend, or I've been interacting with a friend and doing some favors for them, and they called me to do a favor again today. And I just felt like I shouldn't, even though it was an easy favor. And I said, guess what? You need to conserve your energy. You need to set boundaries, especially right now. If you guys understood the weight that you're carrying on behalf of the collective as light workers and way showers, you would definitely dial down on some other areas of your life. Take the pressure off in some areas and cut yourself some slack. Let yourself be, quote unquote, lazy and sit around a little bit. You do not know to the fullest extent what you're doing. Some of you are aware, some of you are very clairvoyant and know, but I don't think any of us know exactly what we're doing on behalf of the collective. And I know that you gathered here are absolutely doing something, doing healing work, doing light work, doing gridding, all the things. So I just want to let you know I'm sending you so much love in honoring the divine being that you are.